So everyone knows the Sebenza. Not everyone knows the Mnandi. The Sebenza is the iconic every man's working knife. The name literally means work in Zulu. But around 2001, Chris Reeve decided to do a gentleman's folder, a lighter duty office carry, Sunday carry. If you separate your work and your pleasure, a pleasure knife. And so he came up with the Mnandi, which means sweet or pleasant in Zulu. So, work and pleasure. They carried over the inlay style of the annual Sebenzas. Originally, they were the first prototypes were done with wood inlays. They've done them in a bunch of different inlay materials nowadays. These particular ones are some really gorgeous, creamy mammoth ivory. You've probably already noticed that this has DLC slabs. That is aftermarket. I was going for a nice tuxedo look, and gorgeous Devin Thomas stainless Damascus in a ladder pattern with a diagonal orientation that you don't see very often in the ladder pattern from that era. I forgot to look at the date on the slabs on this one. I forget when this one was actually made. Where is the date on these? I don't think there's enough light for me to see it. I should have dug out the birth card. Anyway, the Mnandi is a really, really sweet, still very capable gentleman's folder. These earlier nail nick Damascus ones are pretty easy to one-hand open. Some people have trouble with some of the other nail nick versions that they've done throughout the years. But the early Damascus ones tend to be pretty consistently one-hand openable. These are running on a bushing pivot, just like the Sebenza, on perforated bronze washers, just like the Sebenza. If you get the hang of it, you can actually front flick these, which is kind of cool. I'm sure Chris would hate that. Knives are not for flicking. These mammoth ivory ones, they pull a very, very healthy premium nowadays, now that CRK doesn't do mammoth ivory anymore. I've seen clean ones, obviously without DLC. I've seen clean ones with box and paperwork asking as high as like $3,000. So, yeah. This is a permanent piece in the collection, though. My wife loves this thing. She occasionally grabs it for the day. So yeah, there are a ton of affordable versions of the Mnandi out there. I want to say they start around like $500, somewhere in there. So yeah, definitely a really sweet gentleman's folder to keep your eye out for, especially if you like CRKs. So there you go.